Hello everybody, it's your girl Barbie J here, and I wanted to take a quick minute before I do this review to make you aware of what month this is. October is also known as Domestic Violence Awareness Month, as well as Breast Cancer Awareness Month. They're both very dear topics to me because I am a survivor of both, and I ask that you women go out and get your boobies checked. Go out and get them checked every year. Take care of yourself. You never know, it could save your life. I know men can get breast cancer as well, but I don't know how they get their boobs checked. I have no idea, men, but just be careful. Feel for lumps like women do. That's all I can say for you. As far as domestic violence, nobody was put on this earth to be beat by anybody or abused by anybody. And if you're not sure if you're being abused, talk to a close, trusted friend. Call 311 or whatever number is in your state that you could call or talk to somebody. But there are several types of abuse. There's verbal abuse, there's emotional abuse, there's financial abuse, as well as, and the biggest one, physical abuse. And it's usually between spouses and things, but you could get raped by a stranger, that's abuse, okay? So please call a friend, call a trusted source, somebody. Go get help and get out of it. Do not stay in that situation. And please, go get your boobies checked. This is Barbie J saying God bless and take care. Bye-bye. Hey, it's your girl Barbie J. Did you see that? Season 2, Episode 3 of SISTAS, all about pacing. Well, I saw it and I enjoyed it, and I took so many notes. It's like I'm trying to keep my reviews under a certain amount of time, but when it's this good and juicy and you want to tell everything, I try to give my subscribers all the information if they didn't see it, or if they did, so we could talk about things. I see a lot of people give reviews and they skip over a lot of stuff, but sometimes the best part is in the details. Anyway, let's jump right in. But before we jump right in, I just want to thank you guys for visiting my channel and viewing my videos. And I ask that you comment below so we could create a dialogue. This sister would love to create a dialogue. So, and if you enjoyed it, share it, like it, please, and subscribe to my channel. Support a sister, help a sister out, and subscribe to her channel if you haven't already done so. And then hit that little notification bell so to let you know that when I post a new video. Now, right now, I'm not feeling well. I haven't been feeling well all day, but I watched that show and I promised my subscribers that I would post every week at a certain time. So that's what I'm doing. So bear with me getting through this review or recap. Anyway, so it starts off with Zach and Aaron, and they show up to Sabrina's house, and what's her name? Danny sits back down. Danny sits back down because she's like, this gonna be good. Her ex and her new boyfriend are there, this gonna be good. And they're like, Danny, please don't say anything. Oh, wasn't you leaving, Danny? Aren't you leaving? And Danny's like, no, I'm staying. She's like, and Zach is like, we need to talk. And Danny's like, oh, hi, I'm Danny, introducing, and this is such and such and such and such. She's introducing them, and everybody's standing there like, Danny, stop. They're sitting there like, Danny, please stop. It's been a day from hell from all of us. Please stop. And she's like, what? I want to ask them. They like, no. And he's like, look, we need to talk. Zach is like, we need to talk. And he talks, and Karen's like, what do we need? We don't do this now. We just had a good dialogue. He said, no, I understand that, but I need to say this. And he said, he's realizing, he's like, I had an epiphany. He said, I'm in there cleaning the blood up off the floor in your apartment, and this dude come walking in with this and this on a hot Georgia day. He's snapping on the guy's wardrobe. And he said, I'm realizing that Karen must have really be over me. So why am I here? He's like, you called me to get your clothes. Why am I here? So he's like, you know what? I'm out, dude. And he puts the clothes and slams it against Aaron's chest. The pink bag with the clothes. And it's like, I'm out. And I was like, wow. He's really upset. But I thought, isn't he the one that's the cheater? He been cheating on her, but yet he's getting upset. I'm like, this doesn't make any sense. So, and he's like, come on, Danny, let's go. And Danny's like, where we go with? he's like, come on, don't play with me. I'm not in the mood. I got stabbed today. He's like, I just got stabbed. He said, and the guy who caused all of this problem, responsible for it, is right here. And the woman who I got stabbed for and trying to protect wants to leave with him. He's like, I'm not in the mood. I want to go. Come on, Danny. She's like, you don't live with me, you know. She's like, you don't live with me. And she tells Karen, I'm gonna call you when I get home. He gonna get his shit out of my house, and he probably gonna be coming back to you, so you leave your door unlocked. I said, oh, I was like, oh my goodness. I said, that Danny is something else, isn't she, yo? But she's like, you gotta go. He's got it, you know. So they walk out. Karen is like, I need somewhere to talk. Sabrina's like, oh, you can call in my bedroom. It's not a problem. And she said, oh, by the way, welcome to my home. And then she gives condolences for his wife. And so does Andy, you know. And so they go in the bedroom. And, you know, he's like, let me pay for, you know, cleaning up the mess. And so she's like, no, I got it. He said, come on, Karen, I want to help you. She's like, no, I got it. I'll take care of it, you know. And he said, well, I'm staying at a hotel. He said, I'm staying at a hotel and I want you to come and stay with me. He said, I want to hold you close to me. And she's like, we can't do that. And he's like, why not? She said, because your Bible says we can't. He said, wait a minute. He said, I'm a minister of the church. I ain't the pastor of the church. She said, well, you weren't walking around preaching it. So, I mean, she's like, we can. So, and then he goes, she's letting them know we can't do that because we won't be able to control ourselves, basically, she was saying. So then he tells her that Dean and them won't come after. He made sure Dean and them won't come after again. And she's like, how do you know? And he's like, well, because they just wanted money. You know, he said, I gave them everything. I gave them custody. I gave them, what did he say? Custody of the kids. I gave them the house. I signed over everything and I walked out. He said, they just small people and all they wanted was the money. She's like, well, I hope you didn't do that for me. And he's like, why? She said, because I didn't want to be in the middle of that. And he said, well, I did it for me. I did it for myself. And then he starts talking about how he's extremely attracted to her and how he really wants her to come meet him at the hotel. And she's like, I don't know, I have to see. And he gives her the hotel card key. Now, I don't know about y'all, but the hotel card key doesn't usually, maybe it does have the hotel on it, but it sure don't always have the room number. But that part's gonna come up later. So then, it switches to Sabrina call herself listening at the last minute, gonna go to the door and listen in. And Andy's telling her, don't do that, don't do that. I said, Sabrina don't even know how to listen to a door. She didn't even know how to play it off. They opened the door, she got busted. You know, I'm like, oh my goodness. Poor Sabrina, she doesn't know what she's doing. So, but I missed the part. Before they left out the room, Karen had to admit that she's afraid of him. She said, she's scared of him. And he's like, why? But why? She said, because you bring drama. She said, I've never been through nothing like that before. I've never experienced that. I shot somebody. She was like, and I know me, my hands would be shaking. I don't know about you guys, but I would just be shaking like crazy, you know, knowing that I shot somebody. And that's the first time. That's scary, you know. And he admits when she's saying that we can't get close, he admits the things he still wants to do. He still wants to drink. He still wants to smoke. He wants to make love to her. He just wants to be human, he said. And she reminds him of his commitment he made with the church, you know. And she said, I'd feel awful if you broke any of those commitments because of her. And I was like, wow, that's deep. And he's like, well, thanks for keeping me, you know, honest, or whatever it was. But they walk out there, some small talk going on. He leaves, and that's when I think, That's when Karen says she's going to the salon. And they're like, why you got to go to the salon now? You could let Pam take care of that. She's like, Pam is not equipped to do that or something like that. She's just like, she can't do it. She said, how did she say it? She was basically saying that Pam couldn't do it. And once you meet Pam, then you understand why she said it. But I think that was her way of getting out of the house so she could go meet him at the hotel. That's what I think, is she wouldn't tell them that, you know. So it goes to, what did it go to next? It goes to, them talking about how Danny is so complicated and stuff. They just talking, but all of them seem so crazy anyway. Danny's just funny. She might be complicated, but she's hilarious and complicated. So Hayden, the tax attorney, shows up and he arrives, and Karen's finished getting dressed and she says hello, and Sabrina's like, oh, let's go and give them some privacy. And she runs out into the hallway and they start talking and they have a glass of wine, and he starts explaining what can happen or what can not possibly happen with her situation. So then it goes to Danny. They arrive to her apartment with Zach, and there's rose petals all on the floor. And Danny's like, oh no, Zach, you got to leave, because she see her man over there cooking. You got to leave. She's like, what is going on here? You know, he's like, nah, I gotta shower. I got a meeting to go to. I got blood all over me. I need to shower and change my clothes and stuff. And she's like, I don't care. He said, I just got stabbed this morning. She was like, I don't care. She's like, get the hell out of my house, Zach. He's like, but she said, bruh, read the room. Read what's happening here. You know, she's like, because she knows it's about to be on and popping. And she's like, you gotta go. And so Preston convinces her to let Zach take the shower, let him do what he gotta do and stuff. And Zach is like touching stuff. He walked by, yo, you cooked all this, and he looking and he touching this stuff and opening their pots. And I was like, how you gonna let somebody come in there off the street opening your pots? You know, a real cook knows better. You be to knock somebody out doing that. But anyway, he goes and he's like, he goes in the shower, and Danny's like looking at Preston, and Preston's like, all things considered, he's like, did you like it? She said, oh yeah, it's nice. The fake roses, it's all lovely. She said, but how did you get up in here? How did you get in my house? And he said, oh, your landlord let me in to surprise you. I told her it was going to be a surprise. She said, really? Really? She said, she just let you in? She said, wow, to be white in America. I'm like, right? If it was a black dude, she probably wouldn't even let him in that house. They ain't gonna let this white guy in there. She said, you could be a murderer in here waiting to kill me. And she just let me in her little senile self. She said, yeah. I'm gonna have to have a little chit chat with her. I was like, you gotta, ain't no landlord supposed to be letting nobody in your house. They just started seeing each other. Even if they haven't, if she wanted him in, she would have gave him the key. Y'all let me know down in the comment section. What do y'all think about that? Because I know I'd be pretty darn upset with my landlord. And then she started with the things of moving too fast, and you gotta keep it slow. And he's like, wait a minute, hold up. He said, this morning you didn't even want me to leave. You handcuffed me to the bed. He said, I don't understand. You keep changing. You got too many rules. He said, I just want to do what I want to do. He was like, and that is confusing. Come on. Less than 24 hours ago, you didn't want him to leave. And now, here he is doing something nice. And she said, ooh, this is going too fast. We got to move slow. She said, I understand how that could be a little confusing. That's a lot confusing, Danny. Danny's so silly. Sometimes she act like she's so silly till she like almost dumb. But anyway, then they move on to Karen. She gets to the salon, and that chick Pam is up in there. I don't understand Pam. And Pam is asking her all these questions that she know the answer to. She said, why are you asking me if you already know the answer? And Pam sees the hotel card key. That's what I was talking about. Do the hotel card keys still have the names on them? I thought sometimes they don't even have the names on them, but maybe they do still have it, but they darn sure don't always have the room number. Because you lose a card and you get a new one. The envelope usually have the room number on it. So I'm trying to understand how this nosy chick was able to see the room and the hotel name and everything. And I'm like, why was Karen holding it out? How was she doing it? Why wasn't it in a pocketbook, a purse or something, a back pocket, whatever, a jacket? She got it out so Nosy could see it. You know this lady at your job is nosy. You don't hold stuff out around in front of her and you trying to act like you being secretive. Whew. So, I don't know. Anyway, so she sees the car key. She thinks Karen is meeting Zach. No, she's not meeting Zach. But Karen doesn't say anything. She leaves it at that. And then Karen mentioned something about it's time for a change. And that's when I fell out. Because Pam just, you know those people just say what's on their mind off the top of their head and just don't hold back. That's Pam. Pam's like, oh yeah, I'm glad you finally changing that wig. You gonna change? They finally told you about that wig. She's like, girl, if you don't stop. So she asked her, did she get her dress that she from the cleaners? So she up there in her head putting together the outfit that she gonna wear and slay Aaron. She gonna slay him. That's what she gonna do when she put on that dress. Anyway, she leaves and it goes to what was it? Oh, Preston, back to Preston and Danny. Preston and Danny are talking. And Danny must have said nigga. I wish that nigga hurry up out my shower or something because they bleeped it out. And that's when he said, I wish she would stop. You wouldn't use that word. And she's like, oh, no, no, no. You don't get to control the way I speak in my house. You know, and I said, I hear that. You say what you want in your house. And he said his folks use that word. And then she was like, what? What? You know? He said, I told you they're racist. They're racist. His brothers are racist, but his sister isn't. And he said his family doesn't even know about her. And she's like, why? Why haven't you told them? Why don't they know? Now, I'm sitting there going, first you said they're going too fast. So if you start telling people about your black girlfriend, that's really going too fast. You need to warm up and know you want to be with this person before you tell your racist family you with a black girl. Don't y'all think? I mean, maybe I'm wrong, but that's how I feel about it. So, you know, they talking about that. She seems a little disturbed, and he said, look, he would tell them when the time is right. And so Zach finally comes out that bathroom. She's like, dude, what was you doing up in there? Dropping kids off to the school or something? She's like, you in there all that time, running up my hot water and stuff like that? Come on now. And she, you know, she goes in on him and does some zingers. And he's like, Zach is looking at Preston like, this your girl. You see what you getting into? You sure you want to be with her? Are you sure? He's like, are you sure? I tell you, I was like, between Zach and Danny, those two, comic relief. And when you throw in Maurice, putting them three in the room probably would be hilarious. So anyway, she tells him to leave. He was like, he wants some food first before he goes. And Danny's like, no, get out, get out. But he takes a bun and he runs, even though, what was it? Preston's telling him, oh yeah, go ahead, dude. She's like, you got to stop that. That's my lunch for tomorrow. But he takes one, he runs out, and he says, oh, so then Danny and Preston are sitting there, and he's like, you want this dessert, the apple pie, or do you want this hot-ass cowboy? And she was like, I keep telling you, you ain't all that. You ain't all that. But then she was like, come on, just do your job. Go ahead. Do your duty, or whatever it was she said to him. So that was funny, because she know that's all it was about. He must be hot in that Zach, because that's why she didn't want Zach coming in. She's like, be out, because it's about to be on and popping. And he said, Preston, no. Preston said, yeah, you say ain't that good, but you know that's what you want. You know you want me. You know you want me. And then it goes to Andy and Hayden. Oh, okay, they're discussing that she could possibly lose everything. This is so disturbing. He tells her to confront them and to talk to her boss about it. And he leaves, and Sabrina comes inside, and she's like, "Were you standing in the hallway all that time?" She's like, "Yeah," because she wanted to give them their privacy. And she said she's used that time to talk to Calvin on his phone. And then Andy asks her to spend the night, and she apologizes to Sabrina, and says she's going to fix this, because she basically is getting Sabrina in trouble to the point that Sabrina might lose her job because of that money transfer. I still don't understand how Sabrina didn't think. I don't care if it's your friend. Where your friend get $14 million or however many millions it was, and you're going to transfer it without following protocol? That's scary. 1 million, you might have 2 million, but 14? Oh, girl. They think she going to jail. Andy starts feeling emotional, and she's like, "Sabrina, am I stupid?" You know, Sabrina's like, "No, you're the smartest person I know." And she's like, "Then why am I in this situation? How did I get in this situation?" And she said, "Opening up your heart doesn't make you stupid, you know." So she's like, "I want to be professional. I want to be respected. I don't want to be this person. I don't understand how, and I don't want people to see us like this. And they don't understand what we go through." And she's just going on and on. And Sabrina admits to her that she's been thinking about it and some of the situations, and with his wife being in the hospital and all this stuff going on. She said, maybe they did. She said, "You know, I work in a bank, and I see a lot of things happen with joint accounts and stuff." She said, maybe, you know, they are setting him up. She said, you know, and maybe Gary might be telling the truth, you know. So Andy's like, "Really? You think so? You think so?" She's like, "Yeah." She said, "Well, I'm gonna call. I gotta get in touch with that PI, Leslie." She said, "Let me call Fatima." She calls Fatima. Fatima answers the phone. She's driving, and she hits Zach on his bike. Now, she was going straight, so excuse me. I don't see Fatima being the one that wrong. I think it was Zach probably was riding all crazy, knowing him. But she jumps out of her car and says, "I'll call you back." She jumps out of her car, and she's like, "Are you okay?" And Zach looks at her in that yellow dress. I told you in last episode, she was working that yellow dress and that big behind. And Zach was like, "Yeah, you fine." I mean, he said, "No, I'm fine. I'm fine." I said, "Fatima, working that dress. That dress is hot." And Zach can't stop looking at her butt, even when they get inside and everything. But they didn't know they were going to the same meeting, because Fatima gets back in the car, and she's talking to Andy, and she tells him what happened. She almost killed somebody. She's like, "Is everybody okay?" "Yes, everybody's okay. Everybody's fine. It's not a problem." So that was good. But usually when things like that happen, ain't nobody getting up off their bike. The tire is hanging off. The wheel, one wheel is here, and his bike is over here, and it's all busted up. Usually people are like, "Oh no, you got to pay for this." So that part really wasn't realistic to me. Maybe it's because where I live in this city, but ain't nobody gonna get hit by a car, get their bike destroyed, and just walk away and say, "Nah, forget about it. Don't worry about it. I'm good. I'm good." That don't happen. Not in this world. It don't happen. So she gets back on the phone. She asks to talk to where's Leslie, and Fatima said, "I'll call her." So then they jump over to Zach. He gets into the meeting. He's talking to his boy, and Fatima walks in. I said, "Oh shoot, they're at the same meeting." And he's like, "Oh," he said, "This is Fatima, and that's Zach." And she said, "She almost killed me out there." And she said, "Oh no, you know, I ran into his motorcycle." He changed it. Instead of her saying bike, he said motorcycle. "She ran into my motorcycle." So obviously he's hiding from information from his boy. He wanted this guy to know that he's riding on a bike and don't have a car, or he don't have a car or a motorcycle, whatever. And he said she need to be safe, because she gonna, if she come up in here, she gonna run us all over. So his boy is laughing, and he said, "Fatima, can you sign him up safely, please, for us, safely?" So Zach is being difficult. He doesn't want to sign up. He doesn't want to do this. He doesn't want to do that. And she's trying to let him know how fortunate he is to have been invited, because they just don't let anybody in there. Now, when I'm looking around, all of these felons or ex-cons or whatever, they had white people in there too. And he's like, they all got them fancy cars out there. And he's like, yup. But I'm looking at the white people in there, but he's saying, when he gets up to speak, the guy gets up to speak, he's saying, our community. And I was like, our community, let's take back our streets. And I'm like, okay, does he live in a black neighborhood, a low income neighborhood, or what is our streets and our community with the white people sitting up in there? So that threw me off. If anybody understands or know what that's all about, please put it down in the comment section, because that threw me for a minute. But Zach sat there behind Fatima. I know he every time she turned around, he was on that butt. And he kept asking questions. Anybody got a question? Anybody got a question? Anybody got a question? He's like, what if you don't have no money? What have you done? Then he said, sweat equity. He said, what is sweat equity? They explained sweat equity to him. He was like, yo, this is crazy. You know, he was getting it. He said, I got math. I could understand that. You know. So, what else? So they leave the meeting, and Zach leaves the meeting, and Pam calls Zach. Nosy Pam in people's business. She calls Zach. I hate these lights that I keep seeing in my glasses. She calls Pam, Zach, and tells him that she's sort of hotel card key, and she knows that he's taking Karen to the blank hotel, room number such and such, and that she sent a bottle of champagne and some flowers so that he can impress Karen, because she really wants them to make it. And he's like, thanks for looking out. She's like, but how you could afford that? He said, don't worry, I got somebody who hooked me up. I got this. And she said, well, I sent all this stuff to make y'all to help out. She said, but you pay me back when you get the money, okay? I'm like, you initiated. You gonna send stuff to their room, then you want him to pay you back. Hello, why is he paying you back? But she wants him to pay her back. And so as he's hanging up from her, Fatima walks up and she's waiting. And he's like, you eavesdropping? She's like, no, I just want to offer you a ride somewhere, because I really, really feel bad for what happened. I really feel bad. And he keeps saying, that's all right. I'm good. Leave it. And she was like, okay, I'm not going to ask you no more. This your last time. He said, okay, I don't need your ride. She said, all right. But around here, we try to help each other out as much as we can. She said, let me know when you put that pride aside and you need some help. And as she walked away, he was like, okay, I'll do it. You know, you can give me a ride. And she's like, okay. He said, could you pop the trunk? And so I could put the bike in. And he's acting like, he's like, you gonna help me? She said, in this dress? Looking all fabulous like this? No, I'm not lifting that bike up. And he's like trying to lift it, holding it where he got stabbed and everything. He's such a comedian. It's ridiculous. And he gets the bike in there, and he's like, take me to the hotel. And she takes him to the hotel. I guess she's gonna drive him to the hotel. It happens. You know what hotel it is. But when I'm looking at it, I said, why they got her car? Did anybody else see this? Parked all crooked in the street. Her car is parked all crooked. It ain't even in between the lines. They had her like drive up any old way. That was weird. And I noticed that. I don't even know why I noticed that. So then they switched over the last scene. They switch over and they see Karen arrives at the hotel room in that hot black dress looking all cute. And he's like, damn. And, you know, she finds Aaron drinking. And it seemed like she's concerned that he's drinking. And she said, wait a minute. I thought this key was to my own room. And he said, oh, yeah, it is right there. But I'm like, why did she have to go through his room to get to her room if her room is right there? That didn't make sense to me. What kind of hotel is this? I'm curious. You know, I've heard of the ones with adjoining doors, but they still have two separate entrances into them. Correct? Okay. So she tells him, she's like, she thinks he's in pain, and that's why he might be drinking. And he's like, no, that's not what it is. And he was like, he keeps asking her, do you want me? And she's like, she said, no, I don't. He said, you don't want me? And she said, let me continue. She said, I don't want you because I don't want you to use me to escape your problems. That's what she said. She didn't want, she didn't want him to escape his problems through her. And with her seeing him drinking, and she probably never saw him drink. I don't know if he drank in the last season or whatever. Or I know in the last 2 episodes he didn't. So I was little like, why was she so concerned? But that might be what it is, that she's never seen him drink. And so he told her that everything he does with her is not going to be a regret. He doesn't regret anything he wants to do with her or ever will do with her. And the next thing you know, they are kissing and they are, yes, getting it in. And well, do he throw her on the bed or lie her on the bed? But they end up in that bed. And it went off like that. But you see next week's coming previews for next week. They're showing him busting in, Zach busting in the room, because she done told the room number and everything, him busting in the room. There's a lot of stuff that's going to be happening next week. So this is your girl, Barbie J. And I am leaving. I don't feel good. I'm going to lay down and take care of myself. Peace.